Hello, my loves. Happy Saturday. This video is about our time is now. And I want to explain what I mean by this because I use it a lot in my messaging. And our time is all, I used to teach a principle called success is a now decision, not a when. And that's always been true. Your time is when you decide, fully decide energetically to claim it. But there's also the planet, and there's also consciousness, and there's also what's going on. And right now there are old structures falling away. Over the last 2 years we've seen the biggest awakenings on the planet. There is wealth going in different hands, right? There's never been a better time for socially driven entrepreneurs to monetize who they are. I've been doing that with people for almost 20 years, but the thing is, our time is now more than ever. Our time is now more than ever, but the same as in other times, our time is only when we claim it in the now. When I used to teach that principle of success is a now decision, not a when, it was because I was showing people that success happens when we claim it, not when we give our power away to the external circumstances of when I get more money, when I've got more time, when I lose weight, when something happens externally that will give me the permission to choose and claim myself. And it doesn't work that way around. It's a now decision. Your time is when you choose it. Your time is when you shift your priorities into your transformation. Your time is when you choose your future, when you choose the person you're becoming, when you choose your wealth, when you choose your health, when you choose your happiness, when you choose your full expression. And that can happen right now because the future is being created now. Whatever we're doing is happening right now and then, when you get there. But the trajectory matters now. Only now. So the person you're becoming is more important than the person you've been. And where we put our energy is everything, right? Energy. Energy means attention. So what I put into my mind, what I pay attention to, what I look at, what I use to fuel myself. Time, right? Time is the one resource on this planet we never get back. And money, our resources, right? And some people will say, like, I'm very about demystifying industries and helping people have hacks to clear through myths and illusions and lies. But we only have where we put our energy, our time, our attention, and our resources, our money, our investments, yeah? And so some people will say, well, yeah, but we're just being because we've grown up in this old paradigm of control, exploitation and manipulation. Anything that seems like an opportunity can look like a con because we've been taught that. Why? Because the old paradigm will keep you stuck. But guess what? When people in the old paradigm were telling you to put your money into like savings accounts, they were investing in shares and housing and other things that were making them exponential wealth, right? So the way that people invest everything, their time, their focus, their attention and their money is very different when they want a better life and when they want to transform. And it requires you to prioritize differently. You're allowed to do whatever you want, right? But every time, think of time as currency, like as if you were putting money in something. Think of like your attention, your energy, even the thoughts that you might not be consciously reading or watching or absorbing something, but even the thoughts, you're giving money to it, you're giving currency to it, as with money. If you want growth, you've got to choose growth. You've got to show the universe, I'm a match. This is what the person does to grow, right? Because at the same time, people that invest in themselves have extraordinary lives. Why? Because they invest in themselves, not because it happens when. It doesn't happen when. In fact, if you put your future, your growth, your evolution out there to when something else externally happens, a condition, it will stay out there. It will never be here because our time is now, right? My clients say that I help them transform right now. I help them bloom right now when nothing else has changed externally. All the things they thought would need to change, they change and the world moves around them. Because when you claim your time is now, when you choose your evolution, when you claim your spot on the planet, doing the work you're meant to do in the ways you're meant to do it, having the money you're meant to have, guess what? The universe has to show up for you. The world moves around you. But it takes a different approach. Where if you take a sort of log, if you take a kind of, if you looked at your week and said, okay, so my thoughts, my thinking, let's start with my attention. What have I been watching? What have I been reading? Who have I been talking to? What are the predominant thoughts in my mind? You could take a little kind of sort of log of where I've been putting my attention. How much of that is serving me? How many conversations have drained me? How many of them have inspired me? How many things have just made me feel comfortable? But the comfort is keeping me stuck, right? Because it just confirms where I am, right? Yeah, I've heard that that's bad. I've heard that, no, everything, like, no, I shouldn't be doing that. I need to play it safe right now. I'm just using things to pacify me. I'm a baby with a dummy, I just need a pacifier. I need to know that I'm okay being safe. I'm not going to believe in my dreams because that thing says, well, that person, that happened, and they invested in themselves and something went wrong. So yeah, we just stay stuck, right? I'm not taking responsibility for my own evolution and growth. Apart from, there are people thriving on the planet. It's more millionaires being made every day doing things they love, and they're spending their money differently, and they're spending their time differently, and they're spending their attention differently. So how many conversations did I have last week that drained me? How many people, hi Sylvia, am I spending time with that are eating my energy? I'm talking about currency. We only have our energy, which means our time, where we put our attention, and our money, right? If we want to choose growth, we've got to put those things in different pots. And some people get skeptic and go, well, yeah, but it didn't work for them. Apart from, rich people get rich from investing in themselves in every one of those areas. So I'm saying you can take an inventory. You can look at the last week and say, how much headspace, right? And sometimes we need to release trauma. Did I spend thinking thoughts that were not in alignment with the person I'm becoming? How much headspace? Because that's currency. Imagine it like money. Every thought is like an investment. What am I spending my currency on? If I'm thinking thoughts that aren't serving me, I've got to heal the trauma, and I've got to learn to think differently. 2, time. We justify our time. I don't have time. That's not true. I've worked with multimillionaires, billionaires. You know what? Everyone has the same time on the planet. And not everyone's life is perfect that do great things. A lot of people who do extraordinary things had very, very extraordinary challenges. But what they all have is the same amount of time. So for me, it's different because, no, it's not. It's all about how am I going to use the most important thing I've got, which is my heart, right, and soul, my guidance system, and this human force of nature that if I use it right will lead me into every single dream and desire I want, but I've got to learn how to navigate it. No one knows what's right for you apart from you. But if you don't have the tools and the way to navigate this journey, you're going to just keep getting the same results, or you're going to get tortured because you'll have these dreams and you'll get bitter and angry and do shitty things to people because you think that your life isn't available to you. And I'm telling you it is. But here's the wake-up call. Hi, Charles. Hi, my love. We have to be much more observant. Where was I putting my time? We don't have, our time is now. If your excuse is I don't have enough time, then guess what? Where do you actually put that time in? If you only have, I work with people who have single mothers. I work with people who have multiple businesses, right? They don't have tons of time necessarily, but they are a missile like I am in how they utilize it, right? So if I have an hour, what do I do with it? Do I spend it reminiscing, phoning the friend that's going to make me feel better about staying stuck, confirming why I'm not moving forward? Do I use it to just dwell and wallow on my thoughts, or am I going to put that time somewhere else? In something that's going to take me forward, right? Because the only way to change your life, and the only way to claim your spot, and the only way to have your health, your wealth, everything you want, is to change the way you spend your resource, your attention, your energy, which is your time, money, and attention, right? You've got to change that radically if you want radical different results. And anything you believe and are skeptical about, if you look at people who are wealthy and thriving and doing great things on the planet, they invest in themselves and they're very, very vigilant at how they manage their mind. That's for sure. They might do different things, right? So we've got to really take a backlog, because it's not true that you don't have enough time. It's not true, even if you're sick, that you don't have enough energy. I've had many things in my life. We're not looking for perfect circumstances. We're looking for changing our priorities and aligning our resources so the universe can meet there. Everyone that works with me doesn't understand how their life changes so fast. But what I'll tell you about that is I don't wait for the circumstances to change. I change. My clients learn how not to wait when. Success is not when. Health is not when. Money is not when. They learn how to be the thing. They are the cause, and the effect changes around them. We are the cause, the effect changes around us. We are waiting for the external to be the cause. It's the wrong way round, right? So I've got the keys to the kingdom because I've got the things I need, which is resource. You might not think you have. You might say, well, I've got debt. It doesn't matter. You might have debt. So what? People have done it in tons of debt. It's not that. Well, I'm not in perfect health. So what? I work with people who are disabled. Tell me what it is. Your time is now, but you've got to claim it. If I want to change my life, I've got to radically utilize the resources I do have. If I'm very tired, there's a piece of energy I do have. When am I best in the day? Maybe I only have an hour in the morning when I feel good. I'm going to use that. How am I going to feed my mind? How am I going to listen to my soul? How am I going to put my resources where it matters? Because most of us are going to go back into this unconscious cycle often of saying, well, it's not my time. And these things didn't work out. And I got a sign it wasn't right. That's not true. It's never true. Your time is now. There's never been a better time on the planet to monetize who you are successfully, doing things that are good for the collective. Never. I've been doing this business, this kind of work for 20 years, and the time now is the harvest time, right? So, but it requires you to change your attitude. If you don't believe that you're going to be able to do that, yeah, then the thing is not to look for the outside world to keep confirming that it's too expensive, or I haven't got this, or I don't have time, or I'm going through this. That's not the way to do it. The thing is, how do I get my belief in alignment with the result I want? That's how we do this work. Not looking at the external to tell us who, anyone great on the planet has often gone through great challenges, often, not always, but a lot of the time. And so they had no choice but to make it. Sometimes that's why we get the rags to riches story, because at that point you've got no choice. You have no choice to indulge in any kind. And I'm not lightly saying excuses. I've been through so many dark nights of the soul. I've been through such heavy things, right? Which is why I can say this without minimizing how desperate and in despair you may feel at certain points in your life. I'm just here to tell you you're bigger than that. I'm just here to tell you that your whole world gets to change instantly, radically, revolutionarily, magically when you do what I'm talking about. I'm just here to say because I know it. Because if I told you some stories, right, you would understand exactly how I know what I know, beyond just what I've lived, just beyond all the success and all the magic I've created and miracles in my life, right? I also know how to move heavy shit instantly. But it requires us to reclaim our power. And we don't reclaim our power when we keep saying, when something externally changes, I will change. We reclaim our power when we decide that we choose ourselves, right? Hi, Ian. We have to choose ourselves. And what we don't realize is how valuable our energy is, meaning our time, where we put our attention, and where we put our money. And I don't just mean this, I mean invest in yourself, invest in what will evolve you. I do mean that. Invest in your coaching, invest in your personal development. Those decisions were the best decisions I ever made. When you hear my life, and you may hear things I've done things that most people haven't ever had I've done things in my lifetime that may take people lifetimes to experience in terms of the luxury and experiences and countries I've been to and all that stuff. I've also been through some very hard stuff, right? But make no mistake, from very young, I invested in my personal development. From very young, I was obsessed with spirituality, modalities, my own personal growth. From very young, I was mastering these things, right? It doesn't come from nothing. I put my time, my money, and my energy in different places. And so I got those things. It's an easy cause and effect. But when you're waiting for the things outside of you to give you the permission, it doesn't work from there. Hi, Laura. Hi, Lauren. It doesn't work from there. And I'm here to promise you that no matter how big the obstacle, whether that's to do with how your time is right now, what you've got on your plate, where your health is right now, I promise you, I work with people in those situations. I have been in those situations, right? It's still not too big for you to reclaim your power, because whatever energy you do have in terms of attention, ability to focus for even an hour a day, ability to put time somewhere, to change how you spend your time, and ability to spend your money differently changes the world. Even in terms of where we spend our money as consumers matters. The brands you choose, the industries you choose them every day. And then we say, oh, but we don't like that company, but you still fuel it. Every penny you spend matters. Every thought you think matters. Every ounce, every minute you spend matters. If you're worried about time, then take an inventory. How do I spend my time? What thoughts do I let take up my time? If I can't get out of those loops, then maybe I need some healing. Maybe I need some coaching. Maybe I need some counseling. But maybe I need to stop doing what's pacifying me in the short term and choose myself in the long term, because I promise you, when you do, your whole world changes, and there's never been a better time for it. There's never been more opportunity. There's never been anything. Our time is now, but we get to choose it or not. The universe is like, oh, hi, okay, so here's your dream. Here's your soul. Here's everything in your heart. Do you want it? And we're like, oh, not now. Not now. I don't want to put that on my credit card. I don't want to go there today. I'm too scared to meet that person. Universe is like, okay, not now. Dun, phone died, right? And then we're like, hey, I want my dream. And the universe is like, hi, you want your dream. We're not doing the things. We're not acting. We're saying, but you want your dream when you lose weight. Okay, that will be a while. I gave my client an analogy once. She was attracting a guy. We were actually in a business school, but we cover all sorts of things. And it was this kind of analogy, and because we have to follow our inspiration. We get inspired before we get contracted, right? You're like, oh, I want to be on that program, or I want to do that course, or I want to go to that country, or I want to call that friend, or I want... And then our minds come in and stop the inspiration. And that thing where we're excited but shit scared is normally the thing for us. So I was saying to my client once, and she was saying she wanted to meet a guy, but she had all this stuff in her head, and she was like, yeah, but I want to lose weight, and I'm da-da-da-da. And I'm like, so the universe is like this, right? You're going to get this idea, and it's going to be like, go to Starbucks, because Tom's in Starbucks. And she's like, but my ass is too big. And so the universe has got Tom in Starbucks, and you're not going to Starbucks. So then you're sitting in your house going, but I don't understand why it doesn't happen for me. Loop. I don't understand. But you had the inspiration. The universe is telling you what to do, and you're saying, I haven't got time. I've got other things to think about. I'm too busy for my dream. I don't have the money because but I'll use my money in other ways, but I won't use it there because that's not familiar, right? I don't normally put my money there. And someone told me that it's just a con, except for all the rich, happy people seem to have put their money in themselves, doing things that inspire and grow them. I may have got this wrong, but I believe it's a scam, because all my friends that are in the same position I'm in that don't get ahead are doing the same thing. Can you see how ludicrous that is? We need to trust ourselves. I'm not saying if you're doing something from an energy of, I need to be fixed, I've got a problem, you're likely to be manipulated there. Don't do it from that. Do it from what's going to light you up. When you see something and you're like, God, I want to be in that room. I've put my money in places where it didn't make any sense, right? And I didn't care. It wasn't just for the person who was coaching me. It was because it made me something. Because I chose my future. Me doing that and holding myself to a standard and holding myself to something that felt completely unachievable at the time, considering where I was, right? I'd gone through a complete nightmare at certain points in my life. It made something about me and my power and where I got to decide I got to be, where I got to decide I got to grow. Anything that is now evolving us is very good for us, right? Evolved people change the world. Evolved people coming from their hearts do extraordinary things. Money goes there, right? Success goes there. But you can't do it with an excuse of, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, and I'm putting my attention in the wrong things. You can't do it from there. Universe is like, your dream is ready, it's cooked. You're like, oh, not now, my butt's too big. Oh, not now, I don't want to put that on my credit card, I'd rather buy the shoes. You know what, there is a bit of grit in this. There is a bit of determination. There is a bit of choosing you. You want the world to choose you. You want the world to come and work with you. You want the world to see you, but you've got to choose you first, right? And you can do this. I take people when they are so stuck and I unstick them fast, but we choose our time is now. And luckily, there's never been a better time on the planet to choose you now, monetize you now, choose your heart. I'm not saying it is... I'll tell you what, I've been through a lot of ups and downs in my life and a lot of spiritual awakenings. And I had to deal with difficult things because I'm a teacher and I'm a healer, and that's what comes with the job, right? But there would have been nothing more painful to me than to have not chosen myself, chosen my path, chosen what I believe in. You know, like there would have been nothing more. I couldn't sleepwalk through my life unconscious, right? So if you're asking the people to confirm your comforts, yeah, or confirm your fears, you need to get in a different room. If you're asking the people that ignite your insecurities and your limitations, you need to get in a different room. It doesn't come from there. If you feel in your heart something and you don't believe it yet, then your job is to work on your belief. Get around people that show you evidence. Get around people that do believe in it. There are so many people in my life that have told me every single time, you can't do what you want to do. If I listened to them, I'd never have done the things I did. When I got the job with Jamie, he's a celebrity in the UK, my mum was so mad at me for leaving my law job. You know, if I had listened to other people other than my own heart and soul, I wouldn't have done those things. I'd met Oprah Winfrey from that job. I met Madonna. I've been around extraordinary people. Richard Branson. I've learned so much. I've had the best mentors because of it. I've travelled the fucking world. I've seen things. But I wouldn't have done it if I didn't listen to myself. Yeah, but most of us don't know how to listen to ourselves. And when we listen to ourselves, we're listening to our fears. We're listening to the voice of doom. We're listening to the one inside of us that's our wounds, not our truth. Your truth will get you through anything and teach you what you need to know. But most of us think listening to ourselves means the sensible voice of reason, which is actually the wounded fear. Your soul doesn't feel urgent in the same way. Yeah, your soul feels like if you let yourself go there, it's a bit like a tickle. It's like, oh my God, you know, it's that feeling. But we'll shut that down from our fear and our wounding. The voice that we think we're listening to ourselves on is our fear. Oh no, that's not a good idea because that's not going to keep me where I am. That's what the mind does. The mind loves what's familiar. It hates what's unfamiliar. So, hi Mark. Hi guys. Hi Fatima. So your mind, the natural response of the mind, and it doesn't mean it's unsafe, but when something's different, the mind is scared because you'd have to lose. It knows what it knows. It knows what's comfortable. It doesn't mean it's wrong. When you listen to your heart and soul, it's like a tickle. It's like a whisper. It's like, oh my God. And then we'll shut it down. Because in that free space, and we're craving freedom, right? You do something different. You do something bold. You'd claim yourself. The universe can't meet you there unless you do. Every time I've chosen a bigger thing that I wanted, the universe has shown up with the resources, yeah? I didn't need them first. Success is a now decision, not a when. Our time is now because we choose it. But the universe can't meet you until you move. So when you say, I'm the person that belongs in that room, the resources show up often. But you can't go, oh, I'm just going to try and manifest it first. Because it doesn't go that way round. The universe can't even hear that. It doesn't understand what you're saying. It's like, do you want the thing? Get the thing, and then the universe meets you and you elevate, yeah? It works that way. And everyone's like, well, yeah, I'll do that. I'll manifest the money for that. Rather than manifest that, find a fucking way to get in that room. Find a way to go to the place. I've done this so many times. I've gone to different countries because that's what I was called to do. Was that convenient? No. I had a whole business in a different country when I was coming out here. You know, no, it wasn't convenient, but it was what my soul told me to do. Was it the best thing? Yes. Was it convenient? No. Was it expensive? Yes. Was it more than did it stretch me 100%? Yeah. But I needed the stretch because it was coming from the right place. But I knew how to listen to myself. So we've got to learn how to listen to ourselves first. But don't expect your life to change doing the same things. Look at where you've got everything. Look at your life. Take an inventory. Where do I put my attention? Where do I put my time? Where do I put my money? Is that keeping me where I am? Is that pacifying me in my situation? Or is it towards my growth? How you spent your time, money and attention in the last week will tell you whether you're growth orientated, stuck orientated or past orientated, right? And our past repeats in the future because we stay past orientated. We stay what we call as stuck because we just stay stuck. We choose to put our resources in the same place, or we go forward because we choose to. So if you want to go forward, Elevate You opens in November. Whatever you do, understand that you have the power to change your life. Yeah? Because you are the only one that has your consciousness. And what you also have is a beautiful catalogue of cause and effect. The way I'm thinking, acting and using my resources gives me this. 1 and 1 equals 2. If you want to change it, you've got to do it different. Get in environments that expand you, mine or someone else's. Get in environments that change the way you think. Get in environments that show you that actually those limitations do not need to apply to someone like you or anyone on the planet, no matter what you've been through. No matter what you've been through, no matter how hard you think it is for you, I promise you, you are as powerful as any other person on the planet if you can step into it and choose it for yourself. So lots of love. Have a great weekend. I'll speak to you soon.